I was talking to Steve, and I was like, yeah, Steve. I was talking to Steve.
Me?
Steve?
And I was
Steve?
like, man,
Oh,
I'd really like to run an HDMI cable around the door. You know where my computer is, and then the TV's like right here, and then there's a door to our bedroom right there. So
Wow.
it's like I'd have to run an HDMI cable all the way around the door. And I was like, man, I'd really like to figure out a way to do that and not make it look ugly. And Steve was like, dude, you have an NVIDIA Shield that I got you for Christmas. And like, I asked for that because I really wanted to make sure I was watching TV, YouTube specifically in 4K on my 4K television. And the YouTube app through the Amazon TV was always telling me it was in 1080p. And I was like, that's going to fucking hurt. So he got me this, which has some really cool features like AI upscaling and like AI enhancements to make content that isn't natively 4K look a little bit better. But it is an NVIDIA Shield TV, and it supports NVIDIA Game Stream and GeForce Now.
So it's just a box. It's kind of like
It's like an Apple TV.
It's like an Apple TV. Okay.
for lack of a better.
For games.
Yeah. Well,
It's an Android TV box that has an NVIDIA chipset in it to allow for things like Game Stream to work fairly well on it. And I'm not gonna lie, man. I showed you.
You showed me Forza Horizon 4.
Yeah.
Forza.
Forza.
Is it Fort?
It's Forza.
Yeah.
Well, it's spelled Forza.
It is.
That's how I say it all the time.
I don't know if there was any like drop frames or lagging.
So I will say that
pretty solid.
yesterday while I was in the house, I played Skyrim. I've been playing Skyrim again. I started a new character. I bought it again for PC because I'm the reason why they keep releasing that game.
Not bad.
Thanks, Steam sale.
And there were a few points, and I think it was because the house was 82 fucking degrees, where there was a little bit of stuttering. But once the sun went down, it was fine. And
No, that's because I was using all the internet.
Yeah, you must have been hogging all the Wi-Fi. But I mean, honestly, I can stream 1080p from my computer to my television at 60 frames per second, or at least what appears to me to be 60 frames per second. There's not really a way to count the frames on the video stream that's coming through. It works surprisingly well. I went out and bought an Xbox Series X controller.
Why'd you do that?
Yesterday, because the Switch controller doesn't work with. I mean, some games you can download like controller configurations for certain games, but I couldn't get the trigger buttons, not the bumper buttons, left and right bumper to work. So I couldn't run in Skyrim. And they also are not analog triggers. So in Forza, it's just floor it or slam on the brakes. Whereas like in kind of...
You need that weight.
Yeah. With the Xbox controller, there's a little bit of analog-ness to it.
Just throw out there that like Microsoft, Xbox, they want you to have their controllers and they make them run easily for like everything.
I've always liked the Xbox controllers.
Dude, I prefer the DualShock on PlayStation, but they don't make it as easy to use on. I like the fucking symmetrical sticks.
I don't like that.
I do like those. I did like those on the PS2.
It just feels uncomfortable to me.
There are certain games when you play that I need to be able to use my pointer fingers to click stuff while I'm using the joysticks, and you can't do that with the asymmetrical. But anyways, continue with your story.
Well,
I just want to say that it's not Nintendo's fault. They just don't intend for you to do that.
What I'm saying is that it is a very...
Wow.
Can y'all see that?
It was a surprisingly good experience. Like, I didn't feel like there was a lot of input lag. I was able to play Forza. I was able to play Skyrim. I tested out a couple other games, like Titanfall. I tried multiplayer in Titanfall 2. And, I mean, that was the first time playing it, and I sucked ass. But it was... like an enjoyable experience. I guess what I'm trying to get at is the NVIDIA Shield Pro. NVIDIA Shield Pro was released in...
So you have like the base model? There's a
the
Pro?
It's the $200...
I didn't skimp on them.
$200 NVIDIA Shield TV Pro released in...
Whichever one he asked for. It was the 2019 version or something.
I believe you are correct.
Because I think you said that one has a built-in hard drive or something, and you...
Yeah, it was the 2019 version. Honestly, I would say still worth it 100% in 2021. If you have any interest in sitting at your desk and playing video games, and then also playing those same exact video games with the exact same save file on your television. I think that I don't know of anything else that can do it that well. I mean, Steam Link probably has something, but I was honestly like extremely surprised at how well that worked. Not every game is compatible with it, but you can launch your Steam library. So you can Steam shows up as an app, and you can play through their controller interface, and you can technically download controller configurations for other games. And if you had a wireless mouse and keyboard, you'd probably be able to get away with getting through the portions of the game that require a mouse and keyboard. Like Oblivion, it was like, hey, you can play with a controller, but there's going to be times where it prompts you for a keyboard and mouse to enter like your username or your character name or etc.
You couldn't do that with a controller or even on PC?
I don't know. There is a keyboard option that you can hold down a certain button on the Xbox controller. It'll bring up a keyboard. But
I do feel like I forget Oblivion came out like before controllers on computer
15,
were like super
16 years
standard.
ago, something like that.
Like right now, every game that comes out is compatible. If it can use a controller, it works with the Xbox.
I mean, but Doom
controller.
Eternal said the same thing. It was like, it's not fully compatible with the controller. And I was like, that seems weird, but I think it is. Like,
I don't know. Maybe it's something to do with the link that, I don't know. But
yeah. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that it is a super good, super interesting way to play games on your TV from your computer. And I would say that if you're interested in doing so, NVIDIA Shield is a really good device, and it also is it's fairly priced for what it can do, I will say. I mean, $200 isn't cheap, but I was honestly pleasantly surprised with how well it performed. The only, like I said, I did notice a couple drop frames when it was really hot in the house. And then other than that, the only thing I noticed was audio. Like, it kept up with the video, but every once in a while you'd hear it would just go quiet and then back to normal.
I did hear that.
Well, if that doesn't bother you, then it doesn't bother you. So, you know.
the weirdest thing for me was sitting on the couch and his computer monitors like in the corner, and then I'm looking at the TV so I can see them both. And when you would turn to move, like the TV was like barely delayed for me to notice, but like it probably didn't affect you playing Skyrim or whatever, but I feel like I tried to look in between them and see, and it was so hard to tell if it was really behind or if I just wasn't paying attention.
It's just your brain,
But it definitely is slightly off. I mean, it has to be, but
I don't feel like I noticed that much of like input lag, and I wasn't playing like a fighting game or
a racing game.
So I think I was playing Forza. So
or were you like seriously racing?
Or I'm trying to get that first place every time, dude. But
dude,
I just wasn't sure if you were just driving around or.
No, I did play probably for a good 2 hours yesterday.
Well, I think it's cool. I remember someone on Funhouse talking about it when they were talking about like Google Stadia forever ago, and they were talking about that, and somebody had said that, well, it got the Shield TV, and they're like, well, it's not the same at all, but being able to do that is like, well, I don't have to have a second console and I can keep my save file. Because that is one thing that I thought was cool about Stadia, and I guess with Xbox, like cloud streaming, similar, where you can go log on to, the computer with Stadia and play a game, and then just go pick up
your cell phone
on your Chromecast or on your phone or whatever you're doing, and continue your save. And that's one reason different, but why the Switch is so nice is you can play in your hand. If you have a second dock, you can do it at your desk and on the TV. But being able to do it with your Steam library, maybe not all the games, I think it's pretty sweet, just because people love the PC game, but sometimes nothing beats sitting on the couch and not at your desk. And
yeah, I mean, that was like, I was playing Forza on the PC with the keyboard and mouse, and I was like, this isn't how I remember playing this game.
Oh.
I mean, I played it for the 360, Forza 3, I think. It wasn't Horizons, it was
Motorsport.
I think it was called
Motorsport.
What the dog doing?
Yeah, Forza Motorsport. Forza Motorsport 3.
Forza Motorsport
for the Xbox 360. I remember playing that game on the couch with the controller and being like, holy shit, man, like I love this game.
It's so good, dude. It's so fucking good.
I mean, that was how I played it. That's how I loved it. So I wanted to be able to do that on the TV. And the NVIDIA Shield, it was thank you for reminding me about that, Steve.
You're
I
welcome.
completely forgot that was a feature that device had.
Well,
Steve?
What am I here for?
To remind me of the things I forget when I'm dumb.